Well, Dana Brown has shown his hand for Houston. The Astros aren't thinking about selling. They're thinking about adding an outfield bat, bullpen help, and the return of Hunter Brown could be the moves that they are looking for. Are the ones they made recently a sign of things to come? Let's talk about it right now.
Jainel Diaz, this is Locked On Astros.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Astros, your daily Astros podcast. Here are your hosts, Eric the Man Heisman and Brett H-Town Wheelhouse Chancey.
Hey everybody, I'm Brett Chancey and I'm one half of Locked On Astros. We are your team every day. Eric and I on the mic together have been together 6 years, and we bring 2 decades as we bring a fan's perspective with local expert analysis. We are the number one Astros podcast, brought to you by the Locked On Network, the number one sports podcasting network. Thank y'all for stopping by on an off day. If you're listening to us on Friday, happy Friday. You've made it to the end of the week. And you know what? If all else fails, you can smile because you're breathing and you're listening to the show. So be thankful for that. A lot going on in Houston. We got the World Cup fan fest going on. Mexico opened up the World Cup with a 2-0 victory over South Africa. I don't know that there was any doubt that Mexico would win that game, but they scored 2 goals. I know they're fans, and I know a lot of our fans are fans of Mexico, their native country, or maybe I have a friend who's a 5th or 6th generation Texan, but his family, they are some of the original Tejanos in Texas. Even pre-Texas revolution. So I know there's a lot of people that have a lot of ties and a lot of strong feelings towards not just Mexico, but every country that's involved. 32 countries this year. Houston gets to be one of the main hubs for that. Hopefully we'll get to see some USA victories along the way. That's why I'm wearing the USA cap. I know it's for Team USA baseball, but you know what? Let's get into it. I'm going to go through June's projection and what it's going to take for this team to get back to 500 at the end of this show. I'm going to talk about the 2 players that Dana Brown picked up in the 3rd segment. In the 2nd segment, I'm going to talk about whether I believe this team can make a run. And we're going to lead off with Dana Brown. We're going to talk more about Dana Brown, and we have covered Dana Brown in the last few days, but there's really not a whole lot else going on in Astros world. We'll get to the Shea Whitcomb move here in a second. But Dana Brown, we know, has talked to MLB.com. He's talked to MLB Radio. He's said various things here and there. He's gone on, I believe, 790, where he talks to, I believe it's Matt Thomas now. And he's been interviewed. And look, Dana Brown is so dead set on the fact that they are not going to be sellers. They're going to be buyers. I don't see that right now. I will tell you later on at the end, you've got to stay till the end, because I'm going to tell you how the Astros get down the road that sends them where they're getting guys at the trade deadline. Dana Brown said, if we could find some offensive outfield help at the deadline, that would be great. If we could get some bullpen help, that would be great. Okay. Now, there's no mention in this of him selling pieces. Okay. So Brown is openly discussing additions while not really talking about what the subtractions would be. Okay. The Astros still view themselves as contenders. Now, it was funny. I do an exercise. I don't do it every day. Every once in a while, I go into the comment section. I respond to people. And sometimes if people get a little salty with me, I throw it back just because, it's like, hey, we're grown men, we're grown women. If you're going to come at me with some gusto, I'm going to return it. It's going to be friendly fire, nothing offensive, nothing over the top, but I'm going to definitely stand my ground and stand up for myself, as do you in conversations. And that's how you get moving forward in sports conversations. You don't always have to agree. You can agree to disagree. Some people are saying, well, Dana Brown is just saying these things because he wants to keep his job. Well, of course he wants to keep his job. And I think Dana Brown, for the most part, is gaslighting the Houston Astros fan base. So it just feels like the team is not preparing for a rebuild. They are looking for reinforcements. We'll get to those reinforcements here soon. And he highlighted the lack of production in the outfield. This is what I'm wondering, and this is something that we haven't really talked about or questioned on the show. Does Dana Brown now think that they rushed Cam Smith too fast through the system? Or is he dead set and stubborn enough to go, I'm going to ignore his hitting at home. I'm just going to look at his hitting on the road. I'm going to look at the fact that he was a Gold Glove finalist. And I honestly very well think that Cam Smith could be the Gold Glove winner, correct? But Cam Smith, when they brought him up, they were kind of in a situation where they didn't really have a choice because they had just gotten rid of their main right fielder, Kyle Tucker. And that was a big piece of that puzzle. So now they're like, hey, we believe in this guy's athleticism. And he is very athletic. I've talked to the kid. I'm very impressed with his work ethic. And I don't think Cam Smith is going out there and not trying. I don't think Bryce Matthews is going out there and not trying. The guys that aren't producing, it's not for a lack of effort. It's just a lack of production. Major League Baseball, we forget often, is a very difficult game to play. Not everybody hits 300. You know who hits 300? Guys that are in the Hall of Fame. So you go to each team and tell me how many Hall of Famers every team has. It's a 1% deal. Everybody doesn't make it. But when your outfield ranks dead last and is the worst, that's a huge problem. That's a massive problem. So look, what are the coming attractions? Who are the guys in the outfield that are wooing and wowing the Astros as prospects? Well, a lot of them aren't even ready to come up, and they're not necessarily outfielders. I mean, Kevin Alvarez, outfielder, he's still a year or two out, a year minimum, at least 2 years. Nayans, not in the outfield. I'm sorry, Nyans. I've been saying Nayans this whole time. It's actually Nyans. Light Productions is saying Dana Brown's smoke blowing is getting ridiculous, to say the least. Look, I think that Dana Brown and the front office and the Astros do believe that they will ultimately be in the race for the playoffs when we get to the playoffs. I just don't know how much I believe in that right now. Okay. Right now, as this team stands, they're not a playoff team. And if you think they're a playoff team, you're not paying attention to a team that's 8 games under 500. Yeah, they're not a playoff team. They're not even a wild card qualifier right now at this point. But Hunter Brown's return could change a lot of things. Dana Brown says getting Hunter Brown back could stabilize the rotation and firm up the bullpen. And I'm okay with that statement. But you know what statement is also true in that? You have an offense that has disappeared. You have an offense that has evaporated before. And the reason why we're going over this, I meant to mention this in the beginning, because this interview and these words come from the day before they started the series with the Angels. And Dana Brown said, we've been playing better lately. We are a good team. We are a playoff team. We are contending. And we are going, they had just won, 10 of their last 16 games. Now it's 10 of their last 18. Since he said that, they haven't won. They've lost 2 in a row. And the bottom line is it's not a pitching issue right now as a whole. Now, yes, they do need some stabilization in the rotation, and I agree. So I think Hunter Brown coming back helps, but it doesn't help the offense. The offense is still stinky poo-poo right now, okay? But he constantly uses the word stabilize, okay? The front office, again, believes starting pitching depth has been the foundation of their recent improvement. And I said from the beginning of the season, the hallmark of this team will be pitching. The hitting will have to come along. Okay. Well, Chris Reyes says they're 1-3 since Ben Verlander said the Astros are a playoff team. Yeah, look, we can hang on everybody's word here and there, but it really doesn't matter in the end. But what I want to talk about in our next segment is I want to talk a little bit why the Astros may not need any pitching at the deadline and why it could help them focus on the offense and what they're looking for exactly. We'll get to that next. The Cash App card lets you personalize your design. Mine would probably have something sports related on it, whether it's a team logo, a bat, a ball, a stadium, whatever, something that reflects something I'm passionate about. It basically would make it more interesting than just a regular debit card. If you aren't up to speed already, Cash App is way more than just a safe way to send or receive money. With Cash App cards, you can unlock a ton of perks without all the hidden fees, enjoy benefits like exclusive early access to nationwide concert pre-sales like Kendrick Lamar, Sabrina Carpenter, to name a couple, plus discounts on everyday purchases and popular brands you're probably already spending money on. Add your card to your digital wallet to make your money move easier. New Cash App customers earn $10 if they use the code CASHAPP10 in their profile at sign up and send $5 to a friend within 14 days. Terms do apply. Workplace chaos, deadlines stacking up, and projects that need attention, and that one job that you're trying to fill. The problem is that finding the right candidate can take more time than your business can afford. That's where Indeed Sponsored Jobs comes in. Indeed Sponsored Jobs helps you reach candidates who actually fit what you're looking for based on skills, experience, and location. So you're spending less time sorting through applications and more time talking to qualified people to help your business succeed. Some of the best moves organizations make aren't always the splashiest ones. Sometimes it's finding the right person who fits exactly what the team needs at the right moment. That's what stood out for me here, and it's the same idea behind Indeed Sponsored Jobs, helping connect organizations with candidates who are the right fit from the start. And listeners of the show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to help get your job the premium status it deserves at Indeed.com/podcast. Just go to Indeed.com right now /podcast right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire? This is a job for Indeed Sponsored Jobs. All right, make sure you check out the Everydayer Club. Let me tell you right now, if you want to join the fun and you want to get ad-free episodes of this podcast and you want to join the members-only Discord server, you can go to lockedonastros.supercast.com for your 7 free day trial to get closer to the team without all the interruptions. Again, go to lockedonastros.supercast.com. Do that today. All right, so what are they looking for? They're looking for a corner outfielder, a left-handed bat, and an on-base specialist. What's an on-base specialist? I mean, we've got on-base specialists. We just don't have on-base to home specialist. We need hitters. We need runners in scoring position specialist. We need people that have a high risk, right? We need that. I think we've got the relievers. I don't understand why you're not using Josh Hader in the 10th. I disagreed with Eric last night, and I still disagree with him today of going with Josh Hader in the 9th and Abreu in the 10th. Now, would it have been different? I don't know. I mean, I think if Abreu, has been pitching better, I think you put him in the 9th. But then again, the argument is, and Eric's argument was, well, you've got to make sure you get to the 10th inning. But then again, whatever. So your closer 9th, your closer 10th, I think that's a discussion that could probably be a circular argument where it just never ends. But you've got Abreu, you've got King, you've got Inio de los Santos. You have these guys in the back end who are doing a good job in the bullpen for the most part. AJ Blueball is your long guy, but maybe they are looking for another reliever. I just don't think they really need one. We were discussing here in the chat during the commercial. I put up who the 6-man rotation is going to be, I think, when Javier comes back and when Brown comes back. And the sixth guy you're not going to like. But I don't think the Astros are coming off of him as a starter just yet. It's going to be Hunter Brown, Spencer Arrighetti, Tatsuya Imai, Christian Javier, Peter Lambert, Mike Burrows. Yes, I know Mike gives up home runs Burrows. But honestly, they're not going to come off of Burrows just yet. I mean, they already came off of Weiss pretty easily. Weiss is not even doing good in AAA. So while they brought that guy in to be a starter, he's nowhere near. Now, if you need a spot start and you know, Burrows just goes completely catatonic and continues to not figure it out, I would absolutely put AJ Blueball as a starter. I mean, why not? Even if he's an opener, even if he's a 3-inning guy, I don't care. But get Mike Burrows the heck off this starting rotation. And until the Astros do, I don't believe that's going to happen. So they did pick up a couple bats over the last couple days. They picked up Renell Delgado, a 25-year-old who was in AAA with the Rays. We talked about him a little bit last night. And then today, they also picked up another guy named Trenton Brooks. Okay. Trenton Brooks comes to the Astros, and he is another guy that is going to go straight to AAA, and then they will see when they need to bring him up. They did send Shea Whitcomb back down. Trenton Brooks actually got an RBI single in his first hit as a Space Cowboy. That was actually last night. If you're listening on Friday, it was actually Wednesday night. Didn't realize he had already played. Interesting. So they signed him to a minor league deal. He was with the El Paso Chihuahuas before that. It was never a formal announcement, but he was in the lineup. They're taking another flyer. He's a left-handed outfielder. You know, they added Lamont Wade Jr., but he's out, he's down, and it looks like his injury was going to be longer than others. Joey Loperfito's back at the big league level. They also have CJ Alexander and Zach Cole at AAA as lefty hitting outfielders. Brooks, let me tell you a little bit about Trenton Brooks. He is 30. He's back in affiliated ball after this last season, actually beginning the season in Korea. He signed with the KBOs, Kiwoom Heroes, for $700,000, but he didn't perform as hoped. He batted .217, .286, .259 over 41 games in the KBO. But they have a limit of foreign-born players, so he was quick to move. And this former 17th round pick now makes his way to Houston. He's played 37 games at the major league level. He debuted with the Giants in 2024. So they're bringing in left-handed bats. Now, they're bringing in Brooks. They're bringing in Delgado. Delgado is probably a little bit more promising. 25 years old, left-handed bat. This guy comes in, and the Astros are not trying to catch lightning in a bottle. They're not. These aren't moves that are going to move the needle. These are moves that are going to help sustain them while the guys that they have and they want to count on get back from injury. That's all this is. Emmett Zone 99 says this team is trash. There's no way they should buy. Well, you know what? Tell Dana Brown that. And if y'all look back, everybody talks about how this team didn't really ever receive a punishment. That's bullcrap. That's dishonest. That's intellectually dishonest, and it's not true. And the reason why I mention this is someone in the chat says that the 4 draft picks lost is this result. When you lose 4 draft picks to a pick in the first and second round 2 years in a row, this is where it leads you. And then when you're forced to make trades for big leaguers with guys that are prospects, that changes the whole equation. Okay. Not that those prospects all or ever did much of anything, but it still depletes your system. So at the end of the day, the Astros say they're buying. I'm just not buying it. But I can tell you this, they're not going to lose hope. I know it's funny. my tagline is always positive, always Astros. And the second I stray away from anything positive, and I'm a realist, and I discuss this team in a way that is, I guess, level-headed and logical, people jump on me and they're like, oh, always positive, always Astros, huh? So because I say that, and I'll say this before we go to our next segment, it doesn't mean that I'm always going to be positive. It doesn't mean that I'm going to have gripes or complaints. I'm going to have gripes and I'm going to have complaints. And since this is the show that I co-host, I'm going to pretty much say what I want. So you can agree with it or not. That is up to you. We can have civil discussions and civil back and forths, but just because I say I'm the always positive, always Astros guy does not mean that I'm always going to be positive. Next, we're going to talk about the positives and the negatives and where I think the Astros will land at the end of June. Next. ED is way more common than most guys think. Millions of guys deal with it at some point, and that's exactly why HIMSS offers a straightforward way to handle it. HIMSS connects you with licensed healthcare providers online, giving you access to legitimate ED treatment options from the comfort of your home. No awkward appointments, no pharmacy lines, just a straightforward approach that makes it easier to take care of yourself. The whole process is simple. You just complete a quick online intake and a provider reviews your information. If treatment is right for you, it ships directly to your door in discreet packaging, which makes the whole experience feel private and stress-free. The whole experience is excellent. The options like Slendafol, the generic form of Viagra at a fraction of the cost, plus other treatments, so you can find what works best for you. It's a straightforward, transparent, and designed to make getting care feel easy. To get simple online access to personalized, affordable care for ED, hair loss, weight loss, and more, go to hims.com/lockedonmlb. That's hims.com/lockedonmlb for a free online visit. hims.com/lockedonmlb. Prescription required. See website for details and important safety information. Slendafol is the generic version of Viagra. Viagra is a registered trademark of Viatris Specialty LLC. HIMSS is not affiliated or endorsed by Viatris. Kalshi is a fun way to make games more exciting. Baseball season is here, and now you can trade every game on Kalshi. On Kalshi, you can trade every single game. On June 12th, trading at 50%, the Astros, you can put $100 down, and the payout would be $186. Also trading at 50%, the Kansas City Royals, if you put $100 down on them, that is a $193 payout. On Kalshi, you're trading against peers in a live market, meaning there's no house. And as the probability changes, you can buy in or out of your position. For a limited time, download the Kalshi app and use the code Locked On to get $10 when you trade 10. KALSHI, Kalshi, trade on anything. 18 and up only. Restrictions and eligibility requirements apply. Event contract trading involves risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Prices, values, and available markets may differ from those mentioned. For more information, see kalshi.com/regulatory. All right, so let's kind of wrap up what we're talking about with these moves that Dana Brown made, and then I'll go into my June projections and where I see this team. The reason why they made these moves: outfield depth, bench depth, AAA depth. That's basically why they did that. And why did they do that? You want to pad what you have so that maybe if you go into the trade season and you are competitive and you are in the hunt, then you know what? You may actually have a chance to get to the playoffs. I think 2026 is one of those anomaly years. If there's ever a year where a team like the Astros, who are really bad and not playing good baseball at all and getting beat by the Angels for the first time in 11 years in Anaheim, this would be the one year that you would make it. This is the year. This is almost like the NCAA tournament expanding to 72,000 teams. Where basically, hey, you're a college team. Y'all have a pulse. You're in the tournament. So lame. People are like, oh, I love the tournament expanding. I don't. Come on, man. Like, everybody doesn't get to come to. Everybody's not always invited to the party, right? I mean, the kid you didn't invite to your party. The kids that didn't invite you to their party. Not everybody gets invited. Not everybody gets a trophy. But one thing I can be positive about, I love this, is, yes, thank you. I mean, I was actually thinking this thing right as you wrote it, is that Yordan Alvarez is a legitimate MVP and Walker has turned it around. I mean, yeah, that may be about it. Spencer Arrighetti, I know lately he hasn't been great. But let's look at June, okay? For the rest of June, you have the Kansas City Royals for 3 games. You have the Detroit Tigers at home for 3, a day off. You have the Cleveland Guardians. You have basically from the 19th to the 30th, you have no days off. You have Cleveland comes in for 3. Then you go on the road to Toronto for 3, Detroit for 4, Minnesota for 2. Well, there's a 3rd game July 1st. So let's say this team goes 13 and 5. Okay. Let's say this team goes 13 and 5. If you look at where they are right now and you do the math, this team is 31 and 39. If they go 13 and 5, that puts them right at 500. 13 and 5 puts them at 500. That's crazy. 13 and 5 puts them at 500. You're going to have to go 14 and 4 over these last 18 games to get to 45 and 43. If you want to get to over 500, you're going to have to go 14 and 4. I want to know in the chat, and if you're listening, you can say it out loud because you're not watching. Do you see the Astros going 13 and 5 in these last 18 games? Let's be honest. We just lost 2 of 3. This team just lost 2 of 3 to the Angels. Now, can they turn it around? Absolutely. Absolutely. Hey, what's up, Mr. Moreno from Crawford Chronicles? How you doing, sir? Yeah, Jose Hernandez says, I don't see it. I mean, look, I want to see it. I would love it. I mean, raise your hand if you think, well, you say 7 and 6, but we've got 18 games. So you got to add some to that, Mr. Chris. Will they go 11 and 7? That puts them at 4 games under 500. If they go 9 and 9, okay? If they go 9 and 9, that puts them at is that right? No. That puts them still at 8 games under 500. If they go 500, they're still, well, I guess that makes sense. They're still 8 games under 500. That's insane. So someone says 5 and 13 or 4 and 14. Wow. Hey, who's the negative guy now? Who's being negative now? I was sitting here thinking, man, if this team goes 11 and 7, that'll be great. They'll still be 4 games under 500. If they go 12 and 6, they'll be 2 games under 500. Yeah. Edric Jones says we suck. 10 and 8, probably. Okay. 10 and 8. You're still 6 games under 500. If you're 6 games under 500 going into July, okay, you've got the Twins to finish up that series. Now, the thing is, every Thursday of that month, you have an off day. You have the All-Star break from the 13th to the 16th in July. You have Tampa Bay, who is red hot. They're probably going to beat you. The Washington Nationals, they can randomly go on heaters. Texas Rangers, I will probably beat them. Baltimore, who knows? Miami, they've gotten hot. The White Sox, they're the cat's meow right now. The Angels, well, they beat you already. And then back to Texas. I mean, you would think that maybe they're good. Maybe they could do it. I just don't see it. Mr. Johnson says 9 and 9. They'll still be 8 games under 500. Look, call me what you want. Call me a contrarian. Call me, it's funny. Like, I used to get called a homer. I used to get told that I was unrealistic in my expectations. Well, I wasn't. Our podcast wasn't the podcast who predicted the Astros would win 106 games. There's a podcast out there that predicted the Astros would win 106 games. I did not. I thought that this team would come in second in the AL West, and that seems to be too high of a projection at this point. Look, had the Astros swept the Angels, okay? Had the Astros won the Pirates series, won the Athletics series, and swept the Angels, I would be singing a lot different tune right now. I really would. I would be singing a different tune. Because remember the 5-1 loss to the Pittsburgh Pirates on the 4th of June? Your bullpen was basically lights out. Your bullpen was lights out. Then the game before, you win 11-9. You have to come back twice. Your bullpen's terrible, but you win 11-9. Look, sometimes baseball is just going to baseball. And sometimes it doesn't even make sense. Okay, Bluegrass is saying, we're not even at the All-Star break. I know this. But when you get to the end of June, if you are 8 games under 500, I don't know what corrections this team makes to get better. Now, I think you're going to have a June where you get to 500, which is 14-4. Okay. I'm sorry, 13-5. And then you're going to have a July where you just play over your skis and you outplay everybody. And you go maybe 6 games over 500 for that month. Then you're sitting pretty. You're probably tops in the AL at that point, as bad as the AL is. Guys, I just don't see how this team does it. Can they do it? Absolutely. Is it possible? Anything's possible. You're not out of it until you're out of it. It's not over till the fat lady sings. And I'm not saying the Astros are completely cooked, but right now, the current state of this team, look at yourself in the mirror. Don't look at me because we can't see each other. And tell yourself, do I think a team that just lost their first series in Anaheim in 11 years is a team that can be seriously considered competitors in a league that is mediocre? You can't even beat the teams right now that are worse than you. The Angels are worse than you. And then if you double that up and lose again another series to someone like the Royals, you got your butts handed to you by the Rockies. I mean, what's absurd is I'm being told to not be negative. Hey, how about the team stop losing? I'm being real. How about the team stop losing and go out there and perform and hit the damn ball? How about that? There's a novel idea. Beat the other teams that suck. If you beat the teams that suck, you know what? You're in a much better position. You're actually in the wild card. And so at the end of the day, the Houston Astros are the only ones that can fix their own problems. The Houston Astros have got a lot of work cut out for them. Can it be done? Yes. Is it possible? Yes. Is it probable? Not at this juncture. Well, you know what? That's all I got. And I am out. And I'm going to be gone. And I know some of y'all are probably happy that I'm gone for a week. And you know what? I am too. Because I need a vacation. And I just will take a break from baseball. I'm not even getting the internet package on the cruise ship. I don't want to watch TV. I don't want to watch baseball. I just want to relax and enjoy my family. So you know what? Y'all have a good one. When I come back, I'm going to be ripping and ready to go. And I'm going to have a new, just rejuvenated energy. And I'm going to sit back and we're going to watch this team to see what they can do. Can they overcome the impossible odds? Will they do as Dana said, hired at the deadline? Will they make another glorious playoff run? Well, probably not. But you know what? We're here. Rain, shine, win, or lose. We are Locked On Astros. No show does more than ours. I want to thank y'all for tuning in. For myself and Eric and everybody here at Locked On Astros, make sure you make us your team every day. And if you're on video, check out the first 24/7 Locked On Podcast Network YouTube channel. And if you're on audio, check out Locked On MLB. And on Locked On MLB, check out the Back to the Bullpen podcast with myself and Mike Stanton. We go live every day, 1 p.m. Central Standard Time on the Locked On MLB channel on YouTube, and you can find us on audio. So for myself and everybody else, y'all have a good one. I'm going to go sail the 7 seas. I'm out.